I'm Tanveed Mohammed Masood once again, and today I'm going to talk about a new topic, a very important topic. It's about hygiene. Now, what exactly do we mean by hygiene? I thought hygiene is a state of being physically clean and dirt-free. Well, this is a layman's language. It's not at all a good definition of hygiene. As far as I'm concerned, I would define hygiene in a very better way, in a more upgraded way. I thought hygiene is a condition wherein a person achieves a spiritual upgradation, a spiritual gain by remaining physically clean, ensuring that he is free from all sorts of elements, dirts and filth that often afflicts our body, our health and our brain and our mental condition as well. It is often said, cleanliness is next to godliness. In Urdu we call it pakizgi hi bandagi hai. To remain clean is akin to worship. Cleanliness is very dear to God. We can be very near to God if we remain physically and mentally clean. So how can we remain clean? But before we venture into that area, or before we venture into that zone of discussion, let us find out what exactly and how exactly can we elaborate hygiene. So basically, hygiene are of two types: mental hygiene and physical hygiene. Now, we can remain physically hygiene by following certain good habits, certain habits in our day-to-day life, such as taking our shower daily, ensuring that we clean ourselves properly. First, secondly, we can ensure that we remain physically clean if we attend to nature's call on time, and whenever the necessity arises of going to the washroom, we should always ensure that we go to the washroom, and we should never ever go on to suppress the nature's call. I thought that is the most, or rather, most important thing that we should always ensure in our day-to-day life. I thought it's really full of filth and full of dirt for a person to suppress his nature's call. I thought it leads to several diseases as well if it becomes a habit for a person to suppress such nature's call, and it leads to diseases, for example, like gastroenteritis. It forms gaseous particles within a person's body, and in turn it leads to several physical ailments like heart blockage at times arises because of those gas problems that is often found to be have occurred due to suppressing of nature's call. If we suppress nature's call, I thought it's really a bad habit. Whenever we get to receive a whenever we think that we have to go to the washroom, we should always go to the washroom. We should never ever try to suppress the nature's call. If the need arises, we should always go ahead and ensure that whatever is required to make sure that nature's call is heeded, we should always ensure that. Now, we Muslims often urinate in a sitting posture. I thought it's one of the most ideal method of staying clean for a person. I thought there are certain people or certain non-Muslims who have this notion of this myth that that Muslims and certain Muslims who are basically namazis, they offer, or rather they urinate in a sitting posture. They find it really very strange and awkward to imagine that why do certain people urinate in a sitting posture. The answer is that they are really very hygiene conscious. They find it really difficult to remain in filth and dirt. It's basically if when we urinate in the standing posture, it's not appropriate for a person to offer namaz after that. So namaz is basically uh, have to urinate in the sitting posture. If Muslims urinate in a standing posture, they should always ensure that back home they go on to clean their dirt either by taking shower or taking the required minimum water in the in that particular area wherein that water has not been um, poured into so that the filth can be removed from that particular area. So that is one of the most important method of staying clean and hygiene. Exercising and going to the gym is another method of staying clean and hygiene. If a person exercises regularly, if he goes to the gym, for example, and does I'm sorry, and does weightlifting, he would certainly ensure that his body remains fit physically. He would always remain fit, and that would also give him an impetus to enjoy his life properly as well. Now, coming to mental hygiene or spiritual hygiene, a person can remain mentally very hygiene and healthy if he follows certain measures, if he follows certain steps like if he offers his prayers, his namaz, he would certainly remain spiritually upgraded. His spiritual condition would be perfect. He would find it really very easy to take on certain difficult tasks like solving mathematics. Thought solving mathematics is one of the most difficult thing these days. But when a person offers his prayer on time, offers his namaz, he becomes mentally very sharp, very intelligent, and these are basically needed when a person goes into make his career. For example, when a person goes into a career that involves medical studies. Now it, his mental, or rather his mental sharpness should be at his peak, and he should always ensure that he's um, always at the top of his intelligence to solve certain difficult issues. And these things, or rather the prayer often comes in handy in making sure that his intelligence is always at its peak. Well, in namaz, what exactly happens is that when the namazi, or when the person is offering his namaz, goes to the prostrating condition, when he bows down and he goes on to prostrate, or we call it sajda in Urdu, and then what exactly happens is that the blood circulation increases into the brain of that person, into the head, and it reaches to the brain, and at that point of time the oxygen level into the brain increases drastically, and that gives him the enthusiasm and energy and intelligence that is often needed for a person who takes on difficult tasks, or rather a person who performs certain intelligence related work, and that are people who are doctors, people who work in IT industry, who are engineers. They need to rather they should offer namaz so that they remain sharp, they remain intelligent, and they have this skill of remaining intelligent, and is in there all the time. Secondly, if a person mixes up with people, with his friends, goes out, mixes up with his colleagues, his co-workers, his employees, then I thought that is one of the most appropriate method to remain spiritually upgraded all the time. Apart from these, if a person involves himself in activities such as sports, if he takes up activities like playing football, cricket, chess. Chess, for example, is one of the most intelligent sport I thought that has been invented of late. and it upgrades the mental condition of a person, and it enhances and broadens his intelligence and mindset. And this is one of the most intelligent sport, I would say, that has been invented. And apart from that, there are other recreational activities that a person should get into in order to enhance his spiritual thinking and his intelligence as well. To conclude, I would always say that hygiene is the way of life. To remain hygiene is should always be one's priority, because whether you go to school, whether you go to college, whether you go to your workplace, your office, you always, or rather, people always want you to remain mentally, physically clean, and this is one of the most important criteria of going to of a person. This is one of the most important reason why we go to school, why we go to college, and why we go to our workplace. Because if we go to our school, college, or workplace or office in a very dirty and filthy condition, I thought that no one would ever allow us to get into such institutions like college or school or even to the workplace. We are always expected to remain in our best while we go to these places, because at the end of the day we are humans. We are evolved from, rather we have evolved from beast into human, and we never ever expect ourselves to go back to our past condition when we were animals and beasts. So rather, I thought we should learn to distinguish between being human and being an animal or being a beast, for example. So and that is what differentiates between a human and a beast. And remaining clean is always the priority of a good human being, a clean human being, and and animals never ever go to go or take shower or bath, for example. So these days, due to due to this global warming, there is this bad condition where this at times we get to experience intense heat, and during that period, even animals go to the nearby pond or lake and take shower or get into it and take shower. These days, it's happening. Even animals are getting frustrated and they're also going to the pond and taking showers. I thought we should learn from them and try to be more human and try and upgrade ourselves, because at the end of the day we are humans and we always expect ourselves to remain at our best. And I thought hygiene is always and should always be the way of life, and because at the end of the day, this is what is our identification, and this is what differentiates us from animals and beasts.